UFC 310, Pantoja versus Asakura goes down this weekend. Ladies and gentlemen, this might be the card of the year. Okay? I'm not exaggerating. This is probably the most stacked card of the year, in my opinion. It's up there, top two. We got banger after banger after banger. Okay? This is better than International Fight Week. This is better than UFC 300. We got Alexandre Pantoja, Kai Asakura. This fight is going to be a fucking banger of a fight. I think this is Kai's debut in the UFC, if I'm not wrong. So, it's going to be a tough one. It's going to be a tough one to handle for Kai. He's got a lot he's got to handle in there, okay? In the co-main event, we got Shavkat Rakhmonov versus Ian Gary. Another banger. I don't know. So, Ian has a lot on his plate here. Shavkat, he does as well in the striking. You can't sleep on Ian Gary's striking, but I think Shavkat's that guy. And we're gonna get more into it soon. But look at this lineup. We got so many bangers. You know what I mean? So let's start off at the bottom. First fight of the night. Kennedy Nzechukwu. He's gonna be going against Lucas Brzezinski. Okay, so Lucas Brzezinski is a late replacement for Chris Barnett, or Chris Bennett, whatever his last name is. Barnett Bennett. I'm not sure. I think it's Bennett. Either way, that would have been a really fun fight. I would have loved to see that, but that's not going to happen anymore. Now we got Kennedy Nzechukwu and Lucas Brzezinski. So that's going to be the first fight of the night. I think I'm going to go with Kennedy because Lucas is going to be that late replacement fight. He's taking the fight on short notice, and I don't really have a lot of confidence in, too many fighters taking fights on short notice. Kennedy is a vet, but I think this is his first heavyweight fight in the UFC, if I'm not mistaken. But, that's going to be a really good fight. Next up, we got Clay Guida and Chase Hooper. All right, now I'm going to just say this. Don't sleep on Clay Guida. He can win this fight if he keeps it on the feet. Okay, he needs to keep it on the feet, and he needs to create scrambles anytime there is any kind of grappling situation. Okay, Chase Hooper is infamously bad on the feet. Okay, I'm just going to try to say that in a nice way. Very, very, very infamously good on the ground. Okay, and he's a really good kid. But Clay Guida is a dog everywhere. Right? He's old. Okay, let's just say that. He's getting old. This is one of those send him off fights. Clay has to make it a not send it off fight. He's got to dig deep. He's got to fucking get in Chase Hooper's face and just make it a bar fight, son. I don't see Chase Hooper finishing it on the feet. He could surprise me. He's so young. He has room for growth. But I think this is a sleeper fight. I got Chase Hooper if it comes into any kind of grappling, entanglement, and Clay, gets caught. But if it stays on the feet for a majority of the fight, I can see Clay Guida winning. Next up, Michael Chiesa versus Max Payne Griffin. This fight right here is another banger, right? I think Max got the dog in him, and I think I don't want to badmouth Michael Chiesa, but I just don't think he's got that dog in him anymore. Maybe he does, and I hope he proves me wrong because he's really good on the feet, and I don't think he understands how good he is, where he just needs to box a little bit more than he kicks. Like, he was kicking Brady a little too much when he fought Brady, and that, kept resulting to him getting taken down. And then I forgot he kept doing one other really small thing on the feet that kept fucking him up, and I thought it had to do with, kicks. But the thing is, his hands are a little bit better than he thinks, and he should use them more, right? Use them a little more. Max Griffin, you're not going to want to get hit too much. You're going to want to put his back against the cage. You're going to want to take him down, especially with Michael Chiesa's style, right? This one, it wouldn't hurt Michael Chiesa to be long and use that back rear teep kick, right? Because Max, I don't think is going to be looking to take Michael Chiesa down. That was the problem with Sean Brady, is that Brady was trying to take Michael Chiesa down the entire time they were fighting. But if Michael Chiesa can stay long, stay out of the danger, and just avoid the big punches from Max, and I think he could win that one. Max, he's just got to get in Michael Chiesa's face and make him quit. That's it. That's as easy as it is, right? Get in there, be nice and technical, be on point, be accurate, and hit hard. Hit Michael Chiesa hard. Don't let him control you in grappling situations. Stay in the middle of the octagon. Put Michael Chiesa on his back foot, right? And that's pretty much the keys to win for both of those fighters, I see Max Griffin winning this fight. I think he's a little younger. I think he's a little more hungrier. I think he's on a roll, right? Michael Chiesa, he's just, he's on a little bit of a skid, but he's always bringing it every single fight. It's going to be a banger. Next fight, another banger. Joshua Van, who throws nothing but bombs, versus Cody Durden. Cody Durden is he just broke into the top 15. I don't know if he's undefeated in the UFC. I think he might be. He's really good everywhere. He's got really good hands. He's fast. He's got really good wrestling. I think he's got a little bit more tools than Joshua. I think this is an easy, upset, because I guess he's the underdog, so I guess this is an easy upset. Joshua Van has bombs, though, and he has really good hands. He has really good boxing. He's a tough motherfucker. This dude is badass. Cody Durden's badass. I give it to Cody Durden by like a maybe split decision, maybe a unanimous decision. If he goes in there and he wrestles, I could see it being a 29-28 fight for Cody Durden. Next fight, two vets, probably their last fight in the UFC. We got Chris Weidman versus Eric Anders. Now, I'm not even really going to pick, who I want to win on this fight, because this is, pretty much both of their, throwing in the towel fights. Not even throwing in the towel, I don't want to say that, but leaving the gloves on the octagon, on the octagon floor. So, the path to victory for both men, I think, is to just, Chris Weidman just needs to just do Chris Weidman things. Control distance, have great timing, use your wrestling, use your kicks, right? Don't try to just go out there and eat calf kicks like last time. But Chris Weidman's a dog, right? He's a dog. He needs to bring it to Eric Anders, leave it all in the octagon. Why not? You know what I mean? I think both men really should, right? If this is both of their last fights, potentially, both of them, the path to victory is the same. Go out there, get in their face, and try to put it, try to put it on them. Try to hurt your opponent. Obviously, that's the goal, but in this fight specifically, I think both of these guys need to do that. But at the end of the day, do whatever you need to win, right? If it's your last time, winning, Chris Weidman, if you got to go in there and put him against the cage, use your wrestling. Eric Anders, same thing, right? If you got to go in there, but I really truly believe this is going to be a dogfight. To be honest, I think both fighters are going to bring it, and that's going to be a another sleeper fight. Next fight, now this is a true banger. Two contenders on their way up the ranks. Listen, Bryan Battle versus Randy Brown is going to be a stand-up fucking love fest, okay? These guys are going to be striking. These guys are going to be... I think Bryan has a little bit more tools than Randy Brown. I think Bryan mixes up the MMA a little bit better. But Bryan is really good on the feet too, right? We can't avoid that. Randy is very good on the feet. Bryan's very good on the feet. This is going to be a very, very good matchup for both men. I think Randy just needs to keep him off him, keep his back off the cage, and control the center, and then catch Bryan in the middle of his exchanges, right? He needs to catch Bryan as Bryan is boxing with him, okay? That's the best way to catch Bryan, or pressure Bryan. You need to get on him fast, hurt him, pressure him back, all right? We've seen Bryan get cracked a couple times, so... if you could crack him, if you could get in there and hit him with, a good one or two, keep that. Try to be in his face. Don't let nothing, if he eats those, don't give him no credit. Get back in his face, right? But Bryan Battle, this is what you need to do, my friend. You need to be long. You need to move your head before and after, okay? Before and after, get your head offline. Set up your boxing. Set up your kicks off of your punches, right? And just be very active. Use your level changes and just do what you do, right? Bryan is very good at doing what he does in there, right? And Bryan is also very good at catching in between combos. Don't get me wrong. Bryan is the man, and I think he's going to win this fight. I think he needs to be long. I think he needs to be rangy, feint a lot. Okay, use your wrestling and your level changes to get the Randy Brown rhythm off. Okay, you need to get his rhythm off by mixing it up, making him think, pretty much shocking his nervous system like GSP, you know? That's what GSP was so good at. He was good with boxing. He was a good kicker. He was a good wrestler. You didn't know what was coming. He'd show you everything, you know, kind of like Volkanovski style, right? Next fight, another certified banger. Movsar Evloev and Aljamain Sterling, okay, on the prelims. Like, what are we talking about, UFC? What are we talking about? A featherweight fight on the prelims? Like this, number 5 and number 9 on the prelims? What are we talking about? And then we got these guys headlining the prelim. I'm sorry. Let's go back. I'm getting a little off track. So, Aljamain Sterling versus Movsar. So, Movsar needs to keep the fight on the feet, right? I think he needs to pretty much use all your Muay Thai, use all your boxing, keep the fight on the feet. If there's any kind of grappling scenario, create scrambles. Do not let Aljamain sit and lock. He's so strong. You cannot let him get a position and hold it, right? It's going to be very hard to get out of that. Whether it's a body lock, whether it's against the cage, whether it's, he's got you in a takedown, he's got you down, he's got you in half guard, side control, whatever it is. Aljamain, if he's got your back, you're not getting out, right? Aljamain is so strong. It's very hard to get out of any position that he gets you in, and he's shown that time and time again. Movsar, you have to fight your ass off if he attacks your legs, right? You have to use, straight punches and things that come up. So rear uppercuts, rear knees. I would like to see this fight more in an open stance. Okay, so what that means is if one fighter is southpaw, the other fighter is orthodox. So orthodox versus southpaw. I would love to see that fight like this because Aljamain's a wrestler, and if you fight a wrestler in the opposite stance, you get your hip away from them. If they're right-handed, right? If they're orthodox, you stand southpaw. That gets your hip away from them, so they only can shoot on your front leg, which is a single leg, which is a little harder to do to win. And so it also moves you out if you're drawing them in and you stay on that southpaw line. It's harder for them to take you down. So I think if Aljamain Sterling comes out orthodox, I want to see Movsar southpaw. I don't know if he switches stances up a lot, but it would help the defensive wrestling. And then vice versa. If Aljamain comes out southpaw, Movsar stays orthodox, stays on the angle, right? Helps keep the wrestling off you, and then you're able to open up with all your strikes, right? I think on the feet, he should have a good time on the feet, right? If Aljamain gets you, though, it's going to be a nightmare. So, yeah, that's pretty much literally the opposite game plan for Aljamain. You need to get the fight to the ground. You need to control distance with his long kicks, okay, and wrestle, and pretty just like Brian Bowder, you need to use all your weapons, right? You need to use your weapons just like that second. Man, was it the first Peter Yan fight when he came out really hot? Yeah, it was. The first Peter Yan fight, he came out really hot, throwing a lot of kicks, having really good target changing, right? Going up the middle, going low, going to the head, going back to the body, going back low, going back to the head, right? He was really on fire with that front kick and doing a lot of kicks and being really explosive. He needs that, but he needs to keep it the whole entire fight because that is the only way you beat this guy. You got to outpace him. You got to outstrike him. You got to outgrapple him, right? You can't let Movsar get comfortable on the feet. You can't let him start landing combos. You got to put him against the cage. You got to put him on his back. When you're fighting someone like him, you have to put them on their back foot. That's the only way because they only know success on angles and going forward and whipping ass, right? So you have to put them on their back foot. That is how you get them uncomfortable. Aljamain needs to put him on his back, needs to put him against the cage, do a whole lot of grappling, whole lot of level changing, whole lot of mixing it up, okay? And I think he gets it done. If he could get him down and get to a position and hold him, that would be ideal. That's key for Aljamain. Get him down. That's the key. Or get him to the cage, right? But getting him to the cage might not be, the best thing if you're not winning a stand-up exchange, right? If you're not feeling comfortable on the feet, you can't take this guy down and you can only get him to the cage, that's not going to be good for you. You need to be able to get somebody down. If you can't, you need to be able to control the fight on the feet. That's just literally logic. So, I think Movsar wins this fight. I think he has a little, obviously, more experience at featherweight. I think he's going to be a little stronger. I think he's going to have smooth, technical, striking. But Aljamain can interrupt and disrupt that with wrestling. But this dude's Russian, okay? I don't know a fucking single Russian that don't know how to wrestle. So it's going to be a tough fight. And I'm really looking forward to it. I got Ivlov. Next fight. All right. Now, Vicente Luque was supposed to fight Nick Diaz. Unfortunately, Nick Diaz pulled out. That fucking sucks, right? That would have been a banger. But Themba Gorimbo, this fool's badass. I don't know about the odds being, this is, honestly, it is a close fight. I do think Vicente Luque should be the favorite to win just because he's been in camp, he's been training, right? Themba's kind of, taking this fight on short notice, but he could be training year round, right? We have no idea. This guy could be training every single day. He could be ready, and boom, he picked up the call, he answered and went, right? So he honestly could be ready, and this might be a lot closer fight than I think because Vicente Luque is a bad motherfucker, and that's, somebody you don't really want to take a short fight against. So, hats off to Themba, but I don't really know who to pick in this fight, and I think, Themba just needs to go out there and do what he does and hurt, Vicente Luque big time. Vicente needs to do what he does and just control the boxing. He has very good ground game. I think take Themba down. Take Themba down, control him on the ground, beat him up, make it a dogfight, drag him into deep waters, right? This is probably Themba's biggest fight, so put it on him. Welcome him, okay? Welcome to the club. Let's go, right? You know what I mean? And Themba, same thing. You just got to opposite. Just keep him off you, control the distance, control the fight. Don't let him overwhelm you and try to hurt him. Try to hurt him fast. But yeah, I think I got Vicente Luque just because of, I want to say because of Luque being a little more seasoned in there. You know what I mean? He's a veteran. This isn't his first rodeo. He's been in there with, you name it, right? And I think that will show. I think that will be a factor in this fight. So I'm going Vicente Luque on this one. All right, now the headliners of the prelims. God knows how or why. But respect to these gentlemen, I'm not going to talk shit. What am I doing here? Talking shit. It's going to be Dominic Reyes versus Anthony Lionheart Smith. I think I got Dominic Reyes on this one. I think he's the more athletic fighter. I think he's going to be really athletic in there and use his athleticism more than Anthony Smith will, because Anthony Smith is kind of big and goofy. He has like really good fundamentals, but he kind of just, sometimes when he just doesn't show up, he kind of just doesn't show up, and he needs to show up to this fight. Dominic Reyes, to be serious, needs to use his long boxing, his long teep kick. Right, he needs to be moving, not settling, throwing calf kicks, beating Anthony Smith's calf up, throwing straight punches down the middle fast, right, being first, being last, getting your head off line, checking kicks, blocking kicks, because Anthony Smith is going to throw a lot of kicks, lots of kicks, okay? And Anthony Smith, you need to throw kicks that cut Dominic Reyes off. You can't throw kicks during him punching. Unless it's you're offline and you can see a really good kick set up there, but don't get caught kicking, right? Also, attack Dominic Reyes' leg, right? I think you attack his calf, make him immobile, keep him in front of you, okay? Keep him in front of you as much as possible. Get your head offline for the straight punches, and just do your thing. Put his back against the cage. Try to take him to the ground. Put Dominic Reyes on his back. Let's see how good Dominic Reyes is off his back. Take him down. Go in there. Put him against the cage. Make this a dogfight, right? As you do best, really. So I think Dominic Reyes is going to be a little more cleaner in there. He's going to be a little more athletic, a little more faster. Probably has a little bit better timing with the feet. And I think he needs to throw, 2 to 3 punch combos always. I don't like when guys are just sticking to 1 punch combos, whether it's like an overhand, left hand, uppercut. Like, he needs to throw 1-2s, getting his head offline, 2-3s, getting the head offline, 1-2-3, getting, you need to mix it up with there. You need to feint a little bit more and land your third shot. You know what I mean? So anyway, Dominic Reyes, I think, is going to be a little more cleaner, and he's going to take the W. Now, kicking off the pay-per-view, we're finally here after a banger prelim. Nate Landwehr and Doo-Ho Choi. This is going to be an insane fight right here. Okay, Nate has insane durability. He has insane stamina. He's not the cleanest fighter. He's not the prettiest fighter. But this is a fighter's fighter. You know what I mean? This dude just goes in there and bangs with every single person he fights. And that is a problem. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not a good thing always, you know? So I think Dooho Choi needs to go in there and be clean. That's how you beat somebody like Nate. You need to be clean. You need to be accurate. You don't even let him touch you. You gotta be clean in there. Nate, you gotta be in his face. You just gotta be in his face. Attack the body. Slow Dooho Choi down, right? Attack his legs. Attack his body. Don't let him be long. Don't get countered on the way in. Don't let him draw you in too much, right? And if he does, you need to feint. You need to feint and use your head. Because you're going to walk forward. You need to feint, use your head, draw the attacks, and counter him back, right? Don't be the one to get countered. Counter Dooho Choi's counter. So, Dooho Choi, clean, nice, down the middle. Just touch. You don't even have to go in there and try to knock Nate out, because he's 9 out of 10 punches that you throw at him that are going to try to knock him out, he's going to eat. You know what I mean? Like, you might not knock this dude out. Like, just being real. So, but you might, right? And I'm not saying don't fucking hit him hard, but what I mean is not every punch has to be the fight ender. Just touch his fucking face. Just keep touching him. Keep touching him. Up and down, touch his body, touch his head, move, touch his body, touch his head with jabs, right? Long teeps. Keep him away too. Kick his calf. Because he's going to want to walk forward. He's going to want to walk around you. Immobilize him, right? Beat his legs up. Beat his body up. He's going to want to move left and right. You keep him centered by kicking him, okay? You throw big kicks. You stay nice and long. You just move, and you do not let him trap you, okay? You let him trap you, that's when he attacks. And then he might get frustrated when he can't hit you, and he's going to start, going crazy going forward. That's where you could stop and go, or you just pop and move and get out of there and let him, matador him. Whoop, whoop, whoop. You're getting crazy. I'm going to get back in the center of the ring, and then I'm going to start feinting again, and then I'm going to be long. And one of my long 1-2s or one of my long crosses or pull crosses when you're coming in is going to hit, and it's going to drop you. Okay, so I think Dooho Choi needs to be long and lanky, and he's got to fight easy, and he needs to fight clean, which he's not. He's definitely not, the advocate for being nice, clean, and technical. Like, he really does. He used to be like really clean, but he just be getting in dog fights ever since that Cub Swanson fight. So I want to see Dooho Choi go back to being clean, right? Just touch him. Don't need to knock him out, but find your shot, pick your shots. And Nate, you gotta fucking do what you do, boy. Just do what you do. Break him. You fight like Derek Elkins, but instead of wrestling, you just want to keep it on the feet the whole time. So go in there, beat him up, get him against the cage, beat him up on the cage, put him on his back, beat him up on his back. Just beat up Dooho Choi, and he'll quit, right? That's just my prediction. So it's so hard to count Nate out. But I want to see Dooho Choi be clean. But my gut tells me Nate is going to take this fight. Next fight, Grappler Fest. It's going to be... Wait. Knock on wood. I hope this is a Grappler's Fest, right? Bryce Mitchell and Kron Gracie, I want to see them grapple more than I want to see them strike, right? If this is a striking fight, this is going to be fucking horrendous. It's not going to be pretty. It's not going to be the cleanest striking fest we've ever seen. Bryce Mitchell has better hands for sure, right? And if he lets off on Kron, Kron will make anyone stand up look good, to be honest. If you really ask me, Kron will make anyone look like Floyd Mayweather. So Bryce really could be a fun night for him on the feet. But I would much rather see one of these guys try to just take it to the ground. Like Kron... You need to do some wrestling, my boy. Go in there, wrestle Bryce. But Bryce isn't a wrestler, so I don't even know if you want to wrestle him. But Bryce, bring that fucking country goddamn attitude. Go in there, whoop this fool's ass left and right, up and down, on the feet, on the ground. Take him down and show that, I think if Bryce takes him down, he'll stay on the ground. I don't think he's the type to get up and be afraid of Kron Gracie. I think he'll go out there and be like, I'm gonna go out there and fucking submit Kron Gracie. Corn Gracie? Who the fuck's Corn Gracie? I'm gonna go out there and fucking choke his ass, motherfucker. Send his ass back to Mexico. That's how I think. That's how I think the fight's gonna go. Bryce is gonna choke Corn Gracie, and he's gonna want to send him back to Mexico, and he's gonna say something about Donald Trump. Yeah. Bryce Mitchell has this one for sure. Next fight. I don't know how this isn't the co-main event, but I'm not even mad, right? Cyril Gane versus Alexander Volkov. Banger. Everyone's sleeping on Volkov. I'm telling you right now, Volkov is slept on. He needs to beat up the body of Cyril Gane, get him gassed, get him tired, right? Try to avoid anything up the middle because Cyril Gane is really good up the middle, really fast. Try to stay in front of him. Try to cut him off with kicks. Try not to let him bounce too much. Beat his leg up. Beat his body up. And then just try to pick him apart like you do with that jab. Alex needs to stay long with his jab, throw really straight punches, and then get his head offline, and then keep the distance with nice long teeps, and attack after Cyril Gane kicks, right? When Cyril Gane kicks, that's when he needs to attack. That's when Cyril Gane's off balance. That's when he's a little bit slower because he's throwing a big punch. He's not being touchy. He's throwing a big kick, is what I meant to say. So when he comes back, he's a little more sloppy on the comeback. So when Alex sees that, blocks it, he needs to attack off the kicks, right? But also avoid, Cyril Gane's really good at kick and then punching. So just be able to do and play your game without allowing Cyril Gane to use his athleticism. That's what I'm thinking right here. We got to take away Cyril Gane's attributes, right? This is going to be a stand-up fight, so we can take away his ability to be athletic by taking the legs out, by going to calf kicks, attacking the body, slowing Cyril Gane down significantly, because he's just going to be bouncing everywhere, taking angles. He's going to be fast the whole fight. He doesn't slow down. He's going to be touching you the entire time. But there are moments of where Cyril Gane does slow down a little bit. He keeps his hands nice and low. I think, Alex just needs to go out there and dig deep and use his striking to the peak it's ever been. He needs to be locked in. He needs to take advantage of activity. He needs to be more active. He needs to be more accurate, right? Cyril Gane's going to be accurate. He's going to be moving. He's going to use his athleticism to gain ground, to gain angles, and he's going to punish you on those angles. So, Cyril Gane, that's what you need to do to win. Punish him off angles, punish him off feints, punish him off, active hands, active feet. Alex, keep him in front of you. Punish him off of his mistakes. Punish him when he's getting tired, right? And just use your Russian kickboxing to its fullest advantage. I think I'm going to go with Cyril Gane. I think he's a little more athletic. I think he hits a little more, he's got a little bit more pop to his punches. I think they sting a little bit more. So I'm going to go with Cyril Gane on this one. And the dude's just yoked. Like, he's just a tank. I think he's going to go in there, do his thing on the feet, go home with a check. Now, the co-main event. All right. Shavkat Rakhmonov, Ian Gary. This is going to be a banger. I do see Shavkat taking over later in the fight, right? I think it's going to, take a while. I think Ian is very good at distance, right? Very good at distance control. We've seen that with the MVP fight. MVP, I think, did hurt Ian if my memory isn't, mistaken me. I think Ian got caught in that fight. But he did very well on the feet too as well. I think maybe he caught MVP as well. I don't really remember too much. I just watched the fight that night and I never rewatched it again. I have a very good memory. But anyway, what I'm saying is I'm thinking Ian might be a little too... You know how he was with MVP? He was a little too conservative, right? He was very conservative. I think he might be the same way with Shavkat. I think Ian, that might be his downfall, is being a little too conservative and letting Shavkat get comfortable, walk forward, find his angles. I think Ian needs to punish Shavkat. Dude, you got to bring it to him. A dude like Shavkat, he's a bully. He's never been in a dogfight. He's never been hurt. He fucks up everybody he fights. You need to go out there and gain his fucking respect. Be in his face. Don't be, the type of guy to, take a hit to give a hit, right? You fucking make him miss, make him pay, right? People think, oh, I gotta fucking take one to give one. Fuck no. Make him, this guy, you don't fucking let him hit you. You make him miss, you make him pay. And you say, yeah, I'm like that. You gotta fucking find me if you want to punish me. And I'm gonna be punishing you all night until you can't, until you start finding your range, it's gonna be a problem, right? So, Shavkat, you need to go out there. You need to establish dominance right away. Big body kicks. You need to cut him off. He's going to be running from you a little bit. He's going to be moving a lot more, trying to get left, right. He's not going to, he might go straight back against the cage. If he goes straight back and stays against the cage, that's going to be really bad for Ian, right? Shavkat wants you against the cage so you can't go nowhere. He's going to start letting off on you, okay? So Ian needs to stay off the cage, control the middle, stay long, and punish Shavkat by being faster, being straighter, beat him to the punch and get out. Right, and you need to fucking do that all night, and just keep him off you. Any kind of grappling, so stay away from the cage, disengage in any grappling situation, and just be the first one to beat him to the punch, getting your head offline, getting in, getting out, feints, moving, and then when Shavkat, he might get frustrated trying to find you, right? Someone who walks down everybody but goes against someone who's very good at not letting someone walk them down or be in front of somebody, and they can do it all night. That's very frustrating for the guy who can't find his range. He's going to start throwing things to just throw him to see, if he could just land, because he's just like, well, what the fuck? Ian needs to be able to counter those and then see those mistakes and then attack, right? But if Shavkat could go out there, establish his distance early, go out there and hurt Ian, start touching him fast, right? Getting Ian to back up and then controlling him, find him before he starts attacking, I think Shavkat is going to have a lot more power, better timing. He's going to go out and he's going to be throwing bombs, son. So I'm thinking Shavkat. Now, main event. All right. So Kai Asakura, this is his debut, right, in the UFC. This is a mountain and a half to climb, okay? People do not understand how hard this is going to be Saturday night to beat Alexandre Pantoja. We all need to remember who the fuck that is, okay? He has beaten everybody. Let's look at Alexandre Pantoja's past couple fights, right? He's beaten Urseg, okay? He's beaten Royval. He's beaten Moreno twice now. He beat Perez. He beat Royval twice. He beat Cape. Let's keep going. He lost to Askarov in a decision, okay? So how did he lose to Askarov in a decision? What did Askarov do? He used a lot of striking and a lot of wrestling, okay? When he won that fight, when he fights Kai Asakura, Kai is not going to have that same threat of wrestling and striking, okay? But Kai has very good timing, very good range, very good timing. When people blitz him, he has very good timing with his 1-2, with his knees. He has a very good cross, very good knee. I would like to see Kai just keep the distance, keep him off your legs, make it a striking fight, right? As long as this fight is on the feet, the longer it's on the feet, the more Kai is going to gain confidence, the more he's going to gain ground, the more he's going to look good, right? If Alex takes it to the ground, which I think he should be doing, I think he has more tools, right? This is very simple math. If you're a fighter and you have more tools, use your tools, right? John Jones has the way of looking at it of like, if I'm going against somebody who has better striking than me, if I go out there and outstrike them and take away their strength, then in their head, they go, I'm fucked, right? There's nothing I could do now. I thought I was going to outstrike them. I can't outstrike them. I'm not going to outgrapple them. Now I'm fucked. Like, what are you going to do, right? So Alexander can have that same exact method where he just goes out there and tries to keep it on the feet and then beats the shit out of Kai on the feet, which I don't think it's going to be that easy to do, but there's a lot of things going into this. Kai he might hit an adrenaline dump. He might, the moment might be a little too big to where it's, the moment is way up here. This is his UFC debut. We need to see him rise to the moment, right? We need to see him. He needs to let the cream rise to the top. You know what I mean? He needs to be able to go in there, think clearly, and do what he does best, the highest level, and just get into the flow state as soon as possible. Avoid an adrenaline dump. Don't let the grappling gas you out. That's what I mean. Like, I think if Alexander goes in there and he makes it really tough, a real dogfight where he's just shooting for takedowns, putting him against the cage, making it real grimy, I think Kai is slowly gonna break. Right, rather than him slowly building up, if he controls the distance, if he stays in the middle, because Kai has a little bit of a problem with keeping his back against the ring. Okay, you'll see that in a lot of his fights. He's kind of back against the ring, in a couple of fights, and especially against wrestlers. But that's where he hurts people. He has very good timing. When he gets blitzed, he has very good timing. He knows what punches to throw. He knows the right counters. He sees the counters. He throws them and lands with perfect execution. So Kai is very, very dangerous on the feet. That's why it's going to be very important for him to keep it on the feet and try your best to not let the grappling wear you out. Because Alexandre Pantoja, the grappling won't wear him out as much, so he's going to be a little fresher on the feet after grappling exchanges, if that makes sense. So Alex just needs to do what he's been doing, making it a dogfight, taking these dudes down, throwing bombs, throwing big kicks, throwing big punches, and doing really good with mixing everything up. But this is going to be a really good fight. Kai has really good timing. Don't count him out. Okay? My final picks, I'm going to say Alexander Pantoja. He's the champ. He's been in there before countless times. He's beaten all the champs and all the contenders twice. Almost all of them, right? Not all of them, but he's beaten a couple of them twice. And Kai Asakura, this is, it's his debut. He's got a lot he needs to do to win this fight. He is not going in there. This is not a UFC debut against somebody else that's making their UFC debut or might be 1-0 or 0-1 in the UFC. You're going against the champ who's been in there and spot the who of the division, right? The only person Alex hasn't fought is damn near Mighty Mouse. You know what I mean? So I'm saying Alexander off of that. Kai, all power to you. I think this is going to be an amazing fight. What an amazing card. This is going to be a banger. Listen, guys, if you enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe, pay attention, follow me. I fight too, so pay attention to my fights in the future when I get fight news. I'm going to be dropping that too. But yeah, I'll be seeing you guys on Sunday talking about the breakdown, talking about the fights. This card is too good not to talk about after, so we got to talk about it. But yeah, anyway, I'll see you guys on the reaction breakdown. And yeah, hope y'all have a good one. Deuces.